Hello. So today I'm going to be discussing the different types of exceptionality characteristics. The first one that I'm going to start out with is multicultural and bilingual students. So the characteristics that they display are different races and ethnicities. They may speak a different language along with speaking English, and poverty is also tied in with that. So when a student is learning a second language, there are 5 stages to this. And those stages include silence or receptive or reproduction stage. The second stage is the early production stage. The third stage is speech emergence stage. The fourth stage is intermediate language proficiency stage. And the fifth stage is advanced language proficiency stage. With poverty, this poverty contributes substantially with students who have learning disabilities because of the placement that they may be in, and it puts limits on the students' focus in the classroom. All 3 of these characteristics, race, ethnicity, language, and poverty, can intersect, which makes it that more difficult for the student in the classroom. As the teacher, with all students, I will continuously make sure I am aware of myself and how I'm teaching them, make sure that I am knowledgeable about the situation and their experiences. And then a big thing that I saw in the book is about diversity, especially with multicultural and bilingual students, is just making sure that the material and the classroom is very diverse in what they are learning. The second topic I will be discussing is students with learning disabilities. The 4 that I found were reading disabilities, math disabilities, memory disabilities, and emotional and social disabilities. So the first one I found was reading disabilities, and the main one that goes along with that is dyslexia. With dyslexia, students tend to get their words mixed up, so they may read the word backwards, or get like the letter D and the letter B mixed up, so they may say bog instead of dog. That's one of the big things with reading disabilities. And the ways that they are most challenged are phonemic analysis, word identification, and reading fluency and comprehension. Students who have learning disabilities in math have difficulty with procedural problems and fact retrieval in math problems. So this makes it very hard for them to learn math in the classroom. There are 3 different types of memory disabilities. The first one is short-term, and so short-term, this makes it hard for them to remember things over a short period of time. There is long-term memory, so it makes it, they have a difficult time remembering things for a long period of time. And the last one is their working memory. So the process of them remembering what they are learning is difficult, so they can't remember easily. As the teacher, I will provide technology assistance, advanced organizers, visual organizers, and group work. With all of these, they will benefit from them and be able to learn better. Next, students with communication disabilities. This may be a speech disorder or a language disorder. When it comes to speech disorders, they have difficulty saying the words, or Their voice quality may be poor, so this makes it hard for them to speak, and they may be embarrassed to speak, so that makes it hard for them. With language disabilities, cleft and lip palates are often included with language disorders. And in their dialect, they may have a different a different dialect that makes it hard for them from a language that they may have spoken before they spoke English. As the teacher, I will provide technology assistance, audio and text formats, and symbols and objects that they can learn hands-on with. The next one is students with emotional and behavioral disorders. The first topic is anxiety. There are several different types of anxiety. One is separation anxiety. The next is just general anxiety, and then social anxiety. They may also be depressed, and this makes it hard for them. Anxiety and depression makes it hard for them to focus on the work that they are being taught. Externalizing behaviors. This can be students who are very aggressive and towards their peers and possibly teachers. So as the teacher, I will provide activities and assignments that involve all of their senses, so they are continuously doing things and trying to keep their mind off of the emotional behavioral disorder. I will allow peer work and peer tutoring. That way they can work with groups if they would like to, and then provide interactive materials. Next are students with ADHD. We have discussed this, so I will touch on it. The characteristics that they may display are poor focus, so they have a hard time staying on task and not getting distracted. They're always on the go. They're busybodies, and their hands and feet are always moving. They may have poor organization skills, so that makes it hard for them to stay focused on an assignment because their desk may be cluttered. And lastly, talking too much, which entails that they may interrupt their peers or their teachers. And as the teacher, I will do my best to identify and incorporate classroom accommodations. So I will sit down with that student and ask them, how can I make this better? What can I do to help you succeed in this classroom? And if possible, I will provide what they are asking, and if it's reasonable, that way they can learn easier. I would like to provide a quiet area and flexible seating. That way, in the quiet area, they won't get distracted by their peers, and the flexible seating, they will be able to choose where they would like to sit, which I have heard a lot of successful stories with flexible seating, and like standing desks may be provided. That way, if they have a hard time sitting still in their seat, they're able to stand as long as they are doing what they're supposed to. And I will also try to help them with their organization skills and keeping their tools and assignments and everything that they have as organized as possible. Students with traumatic brain injury. They may display similar characteristics with students who have other disabilities, such as learning disabilities, communication disabilities, emotional and behavioral disabilities, intellectual disabilities, and health impairments. the traumatic brain injury may be something that they acquired when they were born, or it may be something that happened later in life. So they're trying to get accustomed to the changes that come with the daily life, and just makes it a little bit harder for them to learn. As the teacher, I will make sure they are always included, provide extra support or teaching which may come from another teacher or a paraprofessional that is in the classroom. They will be allowed to use technology assistance, and hands-on materials and activities will be provided. That way they are able to learn in a different manner. Students with hearing loss. The characteristics that they may display are unilateral or bilateral. So this means that they can only hear out of one ear, they can only hear out of one ear, or they have hearing loss in both ears. They may be completely deaf. They may be just hard of hearing, so they may have hearing aids that help support them with that. Congenital deafness is a deafness that was acquired when they were born. So they've had it their whole lives, but still makes it very, very hard for them to learn. As the teacher, I will help provide sign language, finger spelling, and authentic experiences. So with the authentic experiences, this may just real life experiences that they can relate to and learn from. One thing that I have kind of grown to be passionate about is sign language. I have not learned it yet, but in the near future, hopefully maybe after I graduate, I would really, really love to learn sign language. Students with visual impairments. Characteristics that they may display are low vision, so they may have glasses or contacts that help them see in the classroom. They may be functionally blind. That means that they use glasses or something that helps them see a little bit, but not completely. And then some may be totally blind, so they cannot see anything. And I can't imagine how scary. I have a friend who is blind, and it's just a very powerful story, and yeah, so I'm able to relate to that a little bit. As the teacher, I will provide hands-on activities. That way they can learn in a different manner. I will provide real-life objects such as a banana. They will be able to feel it. They will be able to feel like the size of it, the texture of it, and then myself or another student will describe maybe the color and try to explain what the color may be to them. They may be allowed specialized instruction and collaboration with other students. And lastly are the gifted and talented students. The areas of giftedness that Howard Gardner displayed were musical, bodily kinesthetic, logical, mathematical, linguistic, spatial, intrapersonal, and naturalist. So as the teacher, I will provide curriculum extension, so it just broadens the topic a little more for them so they can dive deeper into learning more about it. Acceleration, where they may jump up 2 grades instead of just 1 grade like the other students. And then they may be allowed more complex activities and lessons than the other students, so they can learn a little more at their quicker rate. So that is all I have. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.